off the Pacific coast of Northern California, at an abandoned barn, two of the motorcycle world's most innovative builders prepare to battle. From the east, Georgia's own Hank Young. From the west, the original Salinas boy, Cole Foster. These two masters of metal will have 10 days to build world-class choppers that can withstand the 400-mile journey down California's Golden Coast to Southern California's Biketoberfest. Who will be the next great bike build-off champion? Hank Young? Cole Foster? Let the people decide. In the southern town of Marietta lives one of Georgia's finest, Hank Young of Young Choppers. Hank grew up building hot rods in his dad's shop. After his success with the Flying Pan in 1995, Hank established himself as the go-to guy for vintage customs. Hank has a vision. Combining automotive and motorcycle heritage, he can utilize any historic piece to mastermind a timeless chopper. Hank's no newcomer to the build-off. Last season, his Bolero Red Discovery Special barely lost to Chica's Unicorn from Hell. This time, Young and his protege, Josh Mills, are going to pull out all the stops to bring a trophy home to Georgia.
Welcome back, episode 2.
Hank's going with an old-style loop frame.
I'm going to blend actually 2 of my other bikes into one bike. I'm taking the Flying Tan style backbone, and I'm putting the rake on the front like the Mean Low Green bike that I did. And it's also, most everything I build is a rigid frame, but this time it's going to be my version of a Softail. On this frame, being a swing arm, there'll be nothing from here up. So there's a lot of pressure put on this bottom point right here. So we added these gussets, added a gusset here, another one up under here, made it super stout. Because we have only 10 days with this build, I got to pull in the big guns. So I got a real big gun here.
With 50 years of experience, Hank's dad, Lewis, joins the team.
I'll say this, he's a whole lot better at everything.
Oh, that's a bunch of crap.
than I ever.
The answer is neither one of us have any money, and we have to make do with what we have.
Lewis and Hank have been resurrecting old parts for years and have a real penchant for old Fords.
This right here is the shifter made out of a 32 Ford pedal. Real neat to have something on there that Henry Ford made.
Meanwhile, 3,000 miles away is the migrant worker community of Salinas, California. Home of the big signs and Salinas Boys Customs, Cole Foster. Cole is a child of the automotive industry. Growing up in race pits, he helped his father, Pat Foster, become one of the first to go 0 to 60 in a funny car in under 5 seconds. From hot rod royalty comes this newcomer whose stripped-down racing style melds into a new kind of lightweight, low-riding chopper. Day 1 for Cole's biker build-off, and like Hank, he's also going for a Softail.
A Softail here, I believe, because we have one, and that's what I've been developing parts for the last 6 months or so. So I got some neat parts that I want to put on it, but we're going to strip this frame down and get rid of a ton of stuff off of it and pretty much make it our own. But first we're going to kind of mock up the forks and do my little trick to the forks.
Salinas Boys Dave McGuire explains a Cole Foster signature.
What we're looking at here is we want the bike pretty low, but we're not going to have enough suspension travel the way the bottom fork slider is, so we're going to do a trick and we're going to shorten this.
You're kind of limited with these sliders on them, so I'm going to cut the bottom one and shorten it so it can sit like it doesn't even have a spring in it, but it'll have 2.5, 3 inches of travel in it.
The shortened forks look created a lot of noise for Cole in 2001 when he released his blue bike.
The public right now in the bike world and even the late model car world is just the more outrageous, the more fishing lure, you know, like, it's got to end.
His lowrider began a trend of new bomber-style bikes.
When I did this bike, we kind of just did our own thing. This bike showed kind of a different way to do things.
Cole gets a little homeschooling from the good old boys down south.
My first hate email said, like, why would you guys even try to go against Hank Young? He rules you. You guys suck. The South will rise again, or something.
In Georgia, Hank gets an important delivery.
This time is a little different. We're using a real Harley motor. This is a 1961 panhead.
3 days earlier, this mill laid in pieces around the shop.
That's basically what was sent, and that's what we got back.
The Young team calls on departure motor genius Lee Clemens to bring the engine to life.
Hank scored this thing, I guess, in boxes because that's basically the way we got it. Was a bottom end, 2 sets of heads, and a set of cylinders with pistons already fitted. Saturday night at 9 o'clock, we were still working on this thing.
With the motor here, Hank begins resurrecting another relic.
This is a front spring out from under a 1940 Ford that we cut in half to make the rear suspension.
These leaf springs come from the normal shocks. The leaves will be inserted vertically under the seat. By adding or subtracting leaves, Hank can adjust the suspension to perfection.
So it'll be our semi-elliptical mono-leaf rear soft-tail suspension. We engineer it to best of our abilities, but until we actually ride it, we don't know how it's going to ride. Cole said he was going to build a soft tail, which, you know, I don't know if he was blowing smoke or not, but anyway, so we come back and we said, you know, we talked about this frame and said, let's build a soft tail. You know, so I've been telling people we're building a soft tail, which is no lie, we are, but it's a little, you know.
People's faces are like,
yeah, they say.
So for me, who doesn't know?
You were building a soft tail?
Last week, an aspiring builder in Oslo, Norway, answered a call from Cole Foster to aid in his quest for a great bike build-off trophy. Finding his way from Oslo, Norway to Salinas, California was easy.
do you know Cole Foster?
Finding Cole's shop was a little more difficult.
Excuse me. Do you know Cole Foster? Is this Cole Foster shop?
The name Cole Foster is known both here and abroad.
Thomas is my friend from Norway. We just met in face-to-face probably a week ago or so. But we've been kind of writing back and forth. He's pretty established in Norway, building hot rods mostly and some bikes. And so he spent his vacation, he's out with me. So I just, of course, put him right to work. And I think he's pretty happy.
To keep with the slim look, Cole's design calls for the back end to be lengthened.
We're going to remove this chunk here. I'm almost finished grinding this strut off, and then we're going to weld on the extension for the tubes.
The frame is in good hands with Thomas. In the next room, Cole gets hands-on with the tank.
I'm just going to take things that are already, take the hard part that's been done and just cut it up and slimming stuff down. And I'll make it fit the bike we're doing and I put it on a diet for sure. Yeah, I'm going to probably give it more of a teardrop. And then I'm going to get rid of the flat top too, I believe. I'll probably make a lot of work for myself. Yeah. First thing, I'm going to cut the tunnel out of it.
Now splitting the tank.
My cut looks like I had too much coffee, but the center really doesn't matter. My outside lines will keep me straight. So this is part 2 of the tank here. And then you have to make the second one right away or you forget what you did. I like the shape.
Cole's sense of style doesn't end with bikes. It's all about the hair.
I don't think I have the best hair in motorcycle building, but I think I'm like on the top 5 list. I think Billy Lane, he's for sure #1, and Russell's hair's looking good, but I think I'm in the top 5.
At the end of day 1, Cole and his fiancée, Susan, sit back and admire the tank.
Will you finish it?
Yeah.
Day 2 in Georgia, and Hank hosts a meeting of the minds with Mr. Harley, Mr. Davidson, and Mr. Ford.
I don't have time to order an extended Springer, so I have this original 1946 Harley Springer. Back in the day, what they used to do to lengthen these front ends is they used to take this section right here and cut it off here, and splice in another piece of tubing, just however long they wanted it. And to do that, what you use is a front radius rod. We'll cut about a 4-inch section out of it, add it to this front end right here, lengthen that front end by about 4 inches. It'll be just right on the bike.
Hank's brake setup is as old school as his bike's parts.
Well, normally a bike has front brakes, which takes up this area, But this one here, we're going brakeless. And we're running a stock 67 to 72 Harley drum rear brake, which sucks from the factory. So we got no brakes in the front and we have bad brakes on the back. So, yeah, these are Knucklehead Speedster bars, which are an original bar. I've modified them. I've changed I put an internal throttle assembly.
Hank's going with a 5/16 Avon Mark IV tire. And for the fender, he's using a 36 Ford spare tire casing.
This will make 2 fenders. You find lots of them in the swap meet. They're fairly cheap, so, Got 1 trim ring, will make 2 fenders, and I think I paid $35 for it. Instead of paying $250 for a, aftermarket motorcycle fender. The lines of a bike are really important. We have this line here, we have our spring and our rear fender all, basically on the same plane.
In Georgia, they're moving along fine. But in Salinas, there are problems. With just 7.5 working days left, Cole is waiting on a motor.
I've inquired a few places about getting one, and I don't know, they seem to be out of stock on the motor I was looking for. And, I have kind of been promised first in line, but it's a little bit tense always. And hopefully it'll work out and I don't have to pull it out of one of my other bikes or something.
Motor or no motor, they still have some building to do. Dave works on a Cole patent-pending Softail oil bag.
A couple patterns of the inside that I'm going to use and It's always easier to make stuff out of paper first, and I'm going to transfer it and cut it out with bandsaw. Well, now I got everything made out of aluminum. Here's the bottom. Goes like that. And here's our top piece.
Cole has cast a one-of-a-kind ribbed cover for the oil tank.
We got a casting here that this is where they fill the casting with. We need to remove all this and clean it all up so we can weld this to the piece that we've built inside today. This is where the battery box goes. Trying to make sure it all lines up correctly and the top's gonna fit nice.
The oil tank is ready to be set in the frame. Coming up, Hank squares off his tank while Cole rounds off his seat pan. Day 3 in Georgia, Hank starts work on his gas tank.
Trying to decide whether we want this front part to come to a point, you know, a little more aerodynamic, or make it more antique looking and have it squared off in the front.
Hank's copying a 30 style tank squared off under the top tube with a seamless oil bag and back.
We're making it out of super heavy gauge steel for durability.
For an antique tank comes antique tools.
Pull up the lever.
A pan brake for bending the metal.
This is how wide the tank's going to be. Frame rail come right down the center. Probably about 4.5 inches on either side. We're hoping to get like 2 gallons out of this thing. We're going from 9.5 inches in the front down to 7 inches in the back. And then the oil tank will go from 7 inches down to 4 inches.
A Beverly shear for a fine edge.
Yeah, we're just rounding it off here so it's not so squared off, and then we'll put a side on it once it's good and rounded off.
Finally, a bead roller for recessed side panels.
One chance. I mean, we got plenty of steel to make another one, but you always hate doing something twice. This is where it gets tricky around the corners.
I'm about seeing cross-eyed.
Simple yet effective.
The end of day 3 brings a finished vintage tank.
I like it.
I don't like being the one with the smallest gas tank, you know, because I feel like I'm holding everybody up.
It sure is nice stopping every
It's nice stopping every 50 miles.
Day 3 in Salinas. With the motor still nowhere in sight, Cole uses a stand-in so he can have a rolling chassis and get the parts out for paint tomorrow.
The trick is to get everything to flow together. Every piece needs to be nice. Even the frame has to have its own beauty.
Like an old cowboy boot, this seat pan will get a steel tip.
Putting the nose cone on the rocket. I am taking a shortcut on everything on this.
The seat pan is ready to be fitted, and Cole has some explicit instructions.
You know, we're probably going to Just come right to the top of it like that. It shouldn't be like some fat lady putting her foot in a too small a shoe or something.
Hank tests out his brainchild.
Feels good. Got our tanks. Josh got our tanks done. That's the gas tank. This is the oil tank. I don't know where Cole is on his bike, but I'm sure there's no way he can be this far along. We're out of here for today.
Day 4 in Salinas, and no word on the motor.
It'll come, hopefully. I've been waiting for it to come, but it hasn't.
The crew is working on last-minute adjustments to the handlebars.
Bring it up a little bit, and it would do the same curve and everything. Do them like that, and if we hate them and they need a rise in them or something, we'll just fill them with sand and give them a tweak.
We're going to tack them and weld them up and then send them off to get them chromed.
Cole's fender gets some winged struts. Late into the night, the fabrication is done, but there are still lingering questions.
If I ever get a motor, then we'll have to play with color. That's the one thing I haven't even thought of. Looking back, it's really a short period of time, and I wish I would have had a frame stripped of the unneeded stuff, and we're just building instead of, cleaning. It looks pretty good. I can't wait to get on the ground.
Good night.
Day 5 in Georgia. A friend's backyard garage is the source of Hank Young's one-of-a-kind paint jobs.
How you doing?
Getting it done.
Back again, Terry Southern.
Hank's paint made up, gray-green. Going in.
Concrete block building, he turns out some of the slickest paint work.
3 a.m. in Salinas. Our camera crew was fast asleep. So Foster pulled a double, picking up his own home video camera and filming his late-night genius.
Can't believe we're doing this.
Some use bead rollers, others just beat it. Early morning, coal shop. The Salinas boys could work all hours of the night, but if Cole doesn't have a motor, he won't be going anywhere.
I got a friend that promises he'll bring it. So he's bringing a motor, and I'm counting on him.
The rest of day 5 is spent prepping for paint.
It's the guy to get stuck with it.
After priming his bike, Cole spends time priming his looks. So where does Hank stand in the hair category?
His hair's good. It's good. He's a good-looking man, if you like, man.
In Marietta, it's time for the lettering.
They want to put Lakewood Special on their tank.
We're on Lakewood Drive. An old Atlanta racetrack was Lakewood Speedway. Nobody else will understand it, but that's right. It means something to us.
Darker than
Hank's
actual.
going with legendary graphic artist Bill Abrams.
First thing I do is match the color of the part as close as possible, and then darken it.
Every time we get something done by Bill, everybody thinks it's a decal, because it looks so perfect.
It's good.
This painstaking process takes all day. And the next morning, the goods are ready.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looks good. Looks great. As usual. I knew it would.
And once again, Hank's number, lucky 13.
I'm going to be happy, 100% happy with this one.
In Salinas, Cole is undecided. Looking for a paint color, he heads to a car show for inspiration.
We're at Salinas High. I've had a blanco on color, complete blanco. I was gonna flip coins. We were gonna, you know, draw straws. This was super close. We were gonna do this. It's probably the closest. I think this is probably the closest to the dark part.
No luck at the car show, but later at his painter's, he spots the perfect color.
All right, that's good.
On a trash can.
Well, that root beer just drops at a time will give us, we'll start getting the color we want, go that direction.
Jesse Cruz is Cole's painter.
I got one coat now of the ivory. Let that dry, we'll mask this off and ready for our initial color.
Has a hard time letting go. In this case, it's the graphics.
Tilt it up for a second. You know, almost to be a pinstripe and then just a little.
He's going with a racing style design on the back fender.
I'm gonna go home and try to lay down for a little bit.
Jesse will have until morning to get Cole's parts back into his shop. Deep in the foothills of Kennesaw Mountain, a piece of wood that's been in Hank's family for decades gets transformed by the chairman. Jack Worrell has been making wicker chairs for years, and now he's making a wicker seat for Hank Young's Lakewood Special.
The trick to doing this type of seat is to weave it in a way that maintains that concave shape. We have to weave it in reverse order in order to maintain that concave shape.
The intricate procedure is called caning and has been around for centuries.
When I started doing chair caning, I discovered that the Chinese have been using this rattan bark since about 3500 BC. Some cane and some can't, as we say in the South.
While Hank gets his seat made in the comforts of a home, Cole travels to Hollister, California, to the biggest seat manufacturer in the world.
You've come to the right place to get a Corbin seat. So here's the seat for Cole. And we hope that it's nice enough for Cole's new bike.
He's gonna love it. Thank you, Mike.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hollister didn't become a household name because of a seat company. Legend has it, it's the birthplace of the outlaw biker. On July 4th, 1947, a group of ex-GI bikers took over the town, and there was lawlessness for days. This event spawned the movie The Wild One, starring Marlon Brando.
The first time I went out scrambling with Rep, remember? What do you want me to do, send you some flowers?
The movie catapulted the bike industry and turned the outlaw into an American hero. Day 8 in Georgia. And Hank's one-of-a-kind gray-green paint job is back in the shop. Another important delivery.
I thought you'd want to see how your seat looks.
Yeah. All right, that's beautiful. That wood and that gas tank, with all the old-timey lettering on it, that's gonna look good.
Hank may have the mind for using old car parts, but his heart is in the chopper.
There's no limit to what you can do to them. As far as cars, you have a 32 Roadster, you can only build it, so many ways, but a bike, I could build bikes for the rest of my life and not build two alike.
Back in Salinas, with just 2 days left, the paint has arrived.
Well, got paint done. Hope he likes it. Got a little blend in it, kind of subtle.
Yeah, it's pretty. Very proud of you.
Yeah.
Knocked it out in one night.
Assembly time, so hopefully nobody scratches it. If so, we've got plenty of paint. So.
The paint made the deadline, and just after 1 o'clock on day 9, the biggest delivery of Cole's build is made.
Cole, what's up, man?
Showtime.
Hey, I heard you needed a motor. Yeah, we came down today to help Cole on his Discovery bike build-off. BMC Choppers, Bend, Oregon, Clayton Hauser, one of my top manufacturers, to help this project.
The original motor never showed up, and Big Mike happened to have an extra S&S motor with Cole's exact specs and price point.
I called, and then I talked to Mike. He thought he could do something if I needed it, and then here he is.
Last day?
Yeah, it's gonna work out good.
Fast engine turning.
In Salinas, they finally caught some brakes. And in Georgia, they're cruising along.
Okay, it's good. Up the paint.
Bent up these oil lines, all copper. Once they're all bent up and we see that they work and there's no leaks, we'll take them apart and polish them.
Like any one-off, some adjusting is necessary. This time, it's the oil filter.
It's just too tight right in here, so we'll just mill this out a little bit more, and that nut will screw up on there easily.
The copper lines fit to perfection. It's day 9 in Salinas, and there's trouble.
We've been having trouble a little bit with the belt being too tight, but it wobbles. Why does it wobble?
Cole has slimmed the drivetrain down in order to give his bike a thinner, tighter look, but the modified belt doesn't fit.
When it's sitting there just locked in, it's straight, and then when we put this load on it, I think it'll want to come off.
With the engine in the frame, the belt alignment has shifted. After an adjustment with the tranny, they still can't get it right.
Yeah, let's just see what happens.
For now, they'll gamble and hope that when putting components into place, the belt will align. Day 10 in Marietta, and it's time to fire up the Lakewood Special.
All right.
Will this 61 panhead find life in 2004? The old is new again.
Beautiful motorcycle, beautiful motor. What a package.
The young team has brought the Lakewood Special to life. In Salinas, there's just 6 hours left. It's a mad rush to get the bike assembled.
This is great. We're almost done. We're at the tail end of it. Hopefully it starts and we can go home.
I think we have a lot of nice stuff here. This is a nice sickle.
Now it's Cole's moment of truth.
Ready?
Strike one. They took a gamble with the converted belt, and it's not paying off.
Stop.
By banging the belt into place, they hope it will fit long enough for the bike to start.
Do we have enough gas on it?
But they quickly realize the belt isn't the only problem.
Yeah, but look here, man.
They first checked the magneto that Cole requested to be put on.
It'd be nice if it was fired right here, this style.
After ruling out the magneto, they checked the spark plugs.
Did we? Okay, good.
You didn't switch yours, right? You sure?
Cole finds out firsthand how important it is to have the motor in the shop earlier.
Is the kill button on for some reason, maybe?
Biker build-off rules state the motor has to be in the bike, assembled, and running by midnight.
Okay.
They switch out the spark plugs and adjust the timing.
That's what we're on right there?
Just to get in the firing position. The front piston is about a 1/4 inch before top dead center, which would make it not fire.
They are running out of time.
Okay, you got 2 minutes to figure it out.
One final shot. It sounded a bit rough, but it's revving. And it made the deadline. It's been a grueling week for Cole and his crew.
I think I asked Cole for a day off tomorrow, but satisfied with the result of it.
Yeah, we ran it to the wire for sure, but if you're gonna do it, I wanna do it first class, and it's not like I wanna win, but I wanna be happy with my product at the end.
It's Hank Young and his Lakewood Special. To create this vintage racing bike, Hank used a squared-off gas tank, leaf spring suspensions, 61 panhead, a cane seat, transforming automotive and motorcycle history into a classic. And Cole Foster, with his signature shortened forks, patent-pending oil tank, steel-tip Corbin seat, and streamlined gas tank, giving his bike the clean lines of a one-of-a-kind bomber-style bike. Northern California, 30 miles from the Pacific coast, high noon at an old abandoned barn. After 10 long days of building, they meet for the first time. From the east, Hank Young. From the west, Cole Foster. Let the showdown begin.
I don't know it.
Get your color.
And same with you, man. Yeah, I figured if anybody could do a softail cool, it'd be you.
I like the color. A lot of work. I'm amazed.
It's just super clean and tasteful. And the gas tank and the color combination.
Well, cool. I think they're both good looking.
They are setting out on a 400-mile journey from Northern California down the Pacific Coast Highway to the border town of Barona, host of Biketoberfest. This stretch of road is a biker's dream. An endless, winding stretch of coastline. The sun sets, but the riders forge ahead. As this long, memorable day of riding comes to an end, they pull off at the pit stop to a warm welcome.
This is the best place around. We got the pit stop. It's happening. If you guys aren't here, in your face.
Hank and Cole are treated like riding royalty.
And then it was fun to come out of total darkness and gloom, to pull in a lot and have people cheer you was fun. That was a highlight for sure.
After a tune-up and a good night's rest, they head out on the last leg of their journey, a 100-mile sprint to Biketoberfest. Just outside of the event at Verona sits the Verona Speedway. Hank and Cole square off. Cole races to victory. His confidence is high, but the real competition is inside, where the fans have started to arrive. The bikes catch the show-goers' eyes.
Lakewood Special. Wicker seat. What a paint job.
And immediately the fans begin to take sides. One vote for each builder.
I went with the Salinas boys. I just like that old dragster and almost a bicycle.
Those Salinas boys are pretty cool.
My name's Scott. I bought Hank's first bike, the Discovery Channel Special #1, which I personally thought was a darn nice bike, but didn't win. But maybe Hank's bike this time will win because it's also a pretty sweet bike.
Young's for sure. Without a doubt.
What can I say?
No question in our minds.
The ladies love the Lakewood Special. At 7 p.m., producer Hugh King takes the stage to announce the results of the voting.
The winner of the Great Biker Build-Off is Hank Young.
In his second try, Hank Young takes first place and brings a trophy home to Georgia.
The biker build-off, it was quite a journey for me. I didn't have a blueprint, really. I kind of just winged it. But I think I stuck to my style, and I'm very pleased with what I did.
This build-off was definitely different from the first time. I guess I knew a little bit more what to expect going in. It just fell together for us. The bike, has so many visuals to it, and it's not like anything anybody's ever seen before.
Hank Young and Cole Foster, two of the motorcycle industry's most nostalgic builders, who capture the spirit of hot rods and incorporate them into modern chopper design.